The bats of the Thunder leading it off is going to be Boston Drakluich, followed by Jensen Smith with Drew Smith batting third. Sage Strayer batting cleanup. Cruz Savage, the designated hitter, will bat fifth. Landon Fulmer batting sixth with Riken Daniels batting seventh. Luke Coley will bat eighth, and Tegan Jenkins will bat in the ninth spot. As I mentioned, this is an elimination game. Westlake lost to American Fork 9-3 yesterday. As for Riverton, it was an unbelievable game last night as they took on Syracuse. The Titans used a big top of the sixth. They scored 5 runs in that one to eventually beat Riverton, but man, was it close. And Riverton was just 1 run away from tying it up, potentially 4 in extras. And they had the bases loaded, so they were even close to a walk-off victory. So win or go home, those are the stakes in our first 2 games of the day. And as Draculich is ready, so are we to begin day 2 of bracket play. (1-0) the count on the low delivery on the first pitch by Moody. First strike of the at-bat is delivered. Drakluich in yesterday's action didn't have a lot of success, but he lifts the first one deep into left field. It'll go back, take a bounce before hitting the fence, and Drakluich is going to stretch that into a double as he slides safely into second. Boston Drakluich getting the bats hot early for the Thunder. Drakluich in yesterday's action failed to reach base. He struck out in 2 appearances and then flew out to right field and left field, although he did bring in a run on a sacrifice fly. So Drakluich with his first base hit of bracket play. That'll bring up Jensen Smith. Smith in yesterday's action reached base in his first plate appearance on a well-hit ground ball down the third baseline, although he was caught stealing after. Then flew out to left field, grounded out to second, and tried to bunt, but was retired at first. Smith showed bunt there, but then pulled back. Thunder are led by head coach Billy Schlee. 3 years, 26 wins, 60 losses after yesterday, but this is a Thunder team that's really hot. Was really hot coming into the tournament. They had 4 straight wins going into yesterday's action. That one nearly squeezed away from Allred, but he's able to trap it. One and one the count. Moody. Delivers strike 2. This is the Thunder team that was the 15th seed in the tournament. They defeated Roy 13-3 and then 6-4 in 2 straight games. And then they upset the 2-seeded Cypress Pirates. Cypress was one of the top teams in the state, obviously earning that 2 seed. And Westlake beat them in back-to-back games 4-3. That one awkwardly fouled off the bat. Mentioned Westlake fell in that to the 7th-seeded American Fork Cavemen to find themselves in this elimination game. The winner of this game will be the first in our losers bracket game tomorrow. They will take on the loser of the American Fork Syracuse game. The 1-2 delivery, Moody. As another's fouled off. Smith trying to reach base for the 2nd time in our tournament. Chopper hit down to the 3rd base line. Good decision that time by Purcell. to check Drakluich before making the long throw over to first to retire Smith. So 1 out now, still 1 runner on second.
The shortstop, number 6, Drew Smith.
Drew Smith now due up. Smith, in yesterday's action, grounded into a double play in his first plate appearance, but then reached base on back-to-back line drives. As that pitch escapes Allred and allows Drakluich to make it over to third. Cooper Hansen got the start on the mound yesterday for the Silverwolves, and it ended up being his first loss of the season. Chopper trapped. Good decision by Moody. Drakluich once again held off. And a nice tag out that time made by Vernon over on first. It's a great play that time by Moody to collect that one.
Number 99, Sage Strayer.
So 2 outs now. Sage Strayer will get the start on the mound for the Thunder. Now due up to bat. Strayer crushes the first one into center field. It's a high-flying ball that is collected by Cooper Hansen. So the Thunder forced to leave 1 stranded on base after getting 1 hit in the top of the first. We'll see if the Silverwolves can break the tie as we shift into the bottom of the first. Silverwolves shifting to the offensive. It'll be Caden Allred, the leadoff hitter, followed by the designated hitter, Zach Edwards. Drake Purcell will bat third. Alex Vernon will bat cleanup, followed by Dylan Zulo. Carson Moody batting in the 6th spot. Remington Robinson will bat 7th, followed by Cooper Hansen. And Easton Hicks rounds out the order for the Silverwolves. In the field for the Thunder, Easton Favilla at the catcher spot, Fulmer at first, Jenkins on second, Coley at third, Drew Smith at shortstop, Riken Daniels in left field, Boston Drakluich in center field, and Jensen Smith in right field with Sage Strayer getting the start on the mound. Allred in yesterday's action flew out to left field, flew out to right field in his following 2 plate appearances, but in his last appearance inside the batter's box, crushed one into right field for his first base hit of the day. Ball 1 delivered. Allred takes ball 2. Count now at 3-0. As Strayer struggling a little bit here early. And it'll be 4 straight ball deliveries by Strayer. So the easy walk for Allred. And I'll bring up Zach Edwards, the designated hitter in yesterday's action. Edward landed the first base hit of the day for Riverton. The shallow fly in the center field. Then fouled out the catcher in his following appearance. He's also retired into right field.
Number 17, Rocky Downs.
And in center field.
Now batting
On a reached base safely, but on a fielder's choice. So Edwards looking to get the action going as the pinch runner for the Silverwolves heads to first. That pinch runner is Rocky Downs, the freshman. Trusted too early. Strayer delivers a strike to Edwards. His first of the day. It'll be an 0-2 count after that one's fouled off by Edwards. Strayer checks first, refocuses his attention back to home plate. Delivers another ball that's fouled off by Edwards, fighting to protect home plate. And Edwards blasts one into center field, but it's right to the center fielder, Dracluich, who retires him for the first out of the inning. Sounded great coming off the bat. I'll bring up Drake Purcell.
The third baseman, number 9, Drake Pearsall.
Pearsall with a walk in yesterday's action. Also reached base after being hit by a pitch, and then 2 strikeouts mixed in. So Purcell yet to reach base via the hit. Pickoff attempt down to first, unsuccessful. It's a Riverton and Westlake team that come into this game in very different positions if you look at how their season played out. Riverton was 12-3 coming off of last season's state championship run in 12-3 in region play and 18-6 overall, while the Thunder were 12-19 overall, but just 1-15 in region 4 play. This one's fouled off. Downs was already on the move, so he's forced to head back to base. Riverton just narrowly earned the top seed in their region. Mountain Ridge was 11-4 on the year, while Riverton 12-3. Another pickoff attempt at first, unsuccessful. This is a Thunder team that, once again, as we said, they may have gone 1-15 in region play, but then postseason starts and what they do, 4 straight wins, and they had the loss yesterday to American Fork, but still so strong for so much of the season. And 12-19 overall, they were really strong and went into region play with a record over 500. Count still 0-1. Pearsall takes ball 1 there. Strayer delivers that ball to the inside. That's ball number 2. The Thunder scored 191 runs overall in the season, but allowed 262. And in region play, they scored 81 runs and allowed 190. Silverwolves, by comparison, scored 222 runs overall in the season, allowed 108. And in region play, scored 141, allowing 54. This one lifted into left field. Giving chase on it is Daniels, and it ends up actually being Dracluich, who was also in the area, who makes the grab. And once again, we see Rocky Downs over on first. Have to head back. So 2 outs now, after back-to-back flyouts to center field. Alex Vernon now due up. Vernon, in yesterday's action, struck out. Also crushed one into right field that ended up being a double for him. Then flew out to right field and center field in his other 2 plate appearances. We saw a lot of the early batters in the lineup for the Silverwolves reach full count in yesterday's action. Looks like we have one of our umpires telling the Riverton dugout that they need to get back a little bit. This is a quick turnaround for Riverton, too. Our game didn't end last night until after 11 o'clock, and just 12 hours later, here they are, right back at UCCU Ballpark with their season on the line. 0-1 the count. Vernon doesn't swing on ball 1. Strayer tries for another pickoff attempt, once again unsuccessful. We did see it work. We had 4 games yesterday. We did see a pickoff attempt work one time. But more so just trying to keep the base runner on the base pads. But either way, he'll be moving on first contact with those 2 outs, as we'll see Vernon take a second to reset. Still 1-0 in the count, Vernon. Make it 2-0 after that delivery. Our 11 o'clock game yesterday featured a matchup between the top seed in our tournament and another Region 4 opponent in the Sky Ridge Falcons, taking on another Region 4 foe in the Pleasant Grove Vikings, the 8th seed. It was a great battle that went all the way into the 8th inning. Neither side scored a run until the bottom of the first, when Sky Ridge scored in walk-off fashion. Favilla tried to rush the throw and ended up losing the ball. So able to successfully steal second for Lehigh that time was Downs. 2-1 the count. And let's see, looks like a balk was the call that time. So because of that, that now puts Downs on third, firmly in scoring position, but with 2 outs. Got to be careful. Strayer trying to even the count at 2 apiece. And he'll do just that. Vernon looking to drive in the first run of the day for the Silverwolves. The Thunder looking to get out of it, giving up nothing. We'll see what gives on the following pitch, as that one was fouled off. Speedy Downs, ready to move on first contact. Vernon blasts one that is going to die in left field, and that will bring in Downs. So the first RBI of the day belongs to the first baseman of the Silverwolves, Alex Vernon.
The second baseman, number 6, Dylan Zulo.
Dylan Zulo now due up. Zulo in yesterday's action struck out in his first plate appearance, flew out to left field in the second. He's also hit by a pitch, and in his final at bat, brought in a line drive. He launched into left field late in the bottom of the 7th in that Silverwolves comeback that just fell short. Second game of our tournament yesterday featured a bout between the 5th-seeded Mountain Ridge Sentinels and the 13th-seeded Bingham Miners. In that one, Mountain Ridge was able to clean it 10-3 in 7 innings over Bingham. Bingham and Pleasant Grove will play in the 1:30 game immediately following this one, the second elimination game of our tournament. 1-1 the count. Strayer inside there. Like the first inning, that's now lasted over 20 minutes for both sides. Zulo. Fouls it off his bat. Count goes to 2-2. Strayer looking to limit the damage to just 1 run. After walking Allred earlier in the first, he's really rounded into form. It wasn't until that hit by Vernon that he surrendered a base hit, forcing Persall and Edwards to fly out to center field. And strike 3. Zulo didn't swing on it. He was frustrated as he heads back to the dugout, but that will end the first inning. It's a 1-0 advantage for Riverton over Westlake. Second inning coming up on KSL Sports Rewind. Westlake currently trailing the Silverwolves 1-0 as we're set to begin play in the top of the second. A reminder, the winner in this game will go on to face the loser of our 4:30 game between the 7th-seeded American Fort Capemen and the 14th-seeded Syracuse Titans. And then the winner of that game at 11 o'clock tomorrow will go on to face the winner of the following game. Or actually, they'll just await the winner of that American Fork Syracuse game. One and one the count. It's Savage, the designated hitter, and Fulmer and Daniels all due up this inning. It's the first meeting of the season between the Thunder and Silverwolves. Ground ball will break through, and it'll be a base hit for the Thunder, their first of the day.
Playing first base.
So Cruz Savage, the second base hit of the day for the Silverwolves, for the Thunder. That'll bring up Landon Fulmer. One the count. Moody. Forces one to be fouled off. Savage, with the base hit here early in yesterday's action, had 2 walks and then struck out. But able to put the ball in play and reach base safely. We saw Fulmer late in yesterday's contest on the mound, but never inside the batter's box. So first go around in the tournament for him here. It'll be full count after the swing and miss by Fulmer. Fulmer able to head over. Actually might have been hit by that ball. Either way, it would have been the result unchanged. But I believe, like I said, I believe it just grazed his elbow. So we'll mark a hit by pitch for now. But either way, 2 runners on base and no outs in the inning.
That brings up the left fielder.
Reich and Daniels now due up. Daniels, in yesterday's action, flew out to center field. His first at bat. In the second, struck out. And then the third, brought in a run and reached base safely, although his teammate was retired. He was caught trying to steal later on once he had reached the base paths. So 2 runners on, no outs. Savage at second, Fulmer at first, Daniels inside the batter's box. The bunt attempt sails in the air and just ends up in foul territory. It was a well-placed bunt had it been fair by Daniels. Coley and Jenkins on deck, rounding out the batting order for the Thunder. And then we back to Drukluich at the top of the order. Oh, 1 the count. Daniels awaiting the delivery. Instead, we'll see a meeting on the mound, so a lot of breakups in between here as we see the Silverwolves defense trying to sort things out. Riverton 18-6 on the season, but last year, as we mentioned, state champions. In fact, we'll see all of the Silverwolves infield come together. Riverton in last night's game led for every inning until the 6th. Pickoff opportunity over to second. Did they make it? They do. So that time leaking off the base pads was Savage. And a smart play by Allred to come out and make the throw. So the count's still 1-1 for Daniels, but Savage caught stealing. Just leaked a little too far off second base, and it was a good throw by Allred to get it over to Mazingo to make the grab. This one's fouled off for strike 2. But taking a closer look at that game yesterday between Syracuse and Riverton. Riverton led it 2-1 after scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 2nd. And they would lead through 5 innings, but then the top of the 6th is when the Titans really opened everything up. Another fouled off. Riverton would get their offense going again in the bottom of the 6th with a run. Syracuse would add that extra insurance run in the top of the 7th, which ended up being crucial in their victory, as without it, the game would have ended or been a 6-6 tie, with Riverton adding 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th. But with 3 runners on base, they were retired, and thus the Titans claimed the win. 2-2 the count. Said probably the quickest turnaround Riverton has had all season on a game, in terms of being played the following day within not even 12 hours after. That one just fouled off. Thought for a second it was going to be strike 3 against Daniels. But the 2-2 count remains. Count goes to full off that ball delivery. Moody in danger of putting more Thunder base runners on. There's a little bit of confusion over the count, something the Silverwolves are familiar with after we had issues last night with Syracuse. The chopper ends up in foul territory. A lot of long at-bats here early. Both batters trying to wait on that perfect pitch. And it's another fouled off. Daniels nearly 10 pitches deep into the at-bat now. Reagan Daniels watches strike 3 go by. First strikeout of the day for Moody, and second out of the inning. Fulmer still on first, with Luke Coley now due up. Coley in yesterday's action was retired at first on a bunt attempt, but did advance his teammate, then walked and flew out to left field. Count will go to 1-1 off the strike delivery. When you're looking for back-to-back Ks to get the Silverwolves out of the inning and back at the bats, or back up out of the top of the second, excuse me. Ground ball fielded cleanly by Zulo, who gets it over to first to Vernon with ease. And once again, for the second straight inning, the Thunder leave runners stranded on base. As they return to the defensive side, we'll see if the Silverwolves can increase their 1-0 lead when we return on KSL Sports Rewind.
Okay. You ain't on my level, then shoot. I couldn't die. Wasn't 질투 떠너비 올라와. 공기도 달라.
Silverwolves hold the 1-0 lead here early. Carson Moody, the pitcher, Remington Robbins, and Cooper Hansen all due up, looking to extend it. Thunder have left runners on in each of the previous 2 innings.
Leading off for Riverton, the pitcher, number 27, Carson Moody.
Moody in yesterday's action, a walk in his first plate appearance. Struck out in the following 2 at-bats. And then drove in a run after launching one into right field late in the game for the Silverwolves. While we have a moment, let's take a little closer look at how the Thunder were able to upset Cypress in those 2 4-3 games. 1-1 the count on the outside delivery there. But in that first game, when Westlake took on the 2-seeded Pirates, Westlake would score the first run in the top of the 3rd. They would give up 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th to the Pirates, but then scored 3 runs in the top of the 6th and held strong defensively in the 7th to secure the 4-3 win. They had 10 hits in that game against Cypress, as the Pirates couldn't match their offensive productivity. Count at 2-2. Moody, the center fielder, or excuse me, the pitcher today, chops one. It's fielded cleanly by Jenkins, who gets it over to first for the out. So Moody's retired in the exact same fashion. We just saw our previous inning come the top of the 1st, top of the 2nd come to an end. Remington Robbins now due up. Robbins in yesterday's action walked in his first plate appearance, then drove a line drive directly at the pitcher. That was caught. Then a strikeout and reached base and drove in a run in his 3rd plate appearance. One of the count. Strayer still looking for his first strikeout on the day. Walked the first batter he's faced, but since has been pretty sharp outside of allowing the 1 run brought in off the hit. High delivery for ball 2. In that second game between Westlake and Cypress, the Thunder would keep up their offense productivity, scoring 2 runs in the top of the 1st, but would surrender the lead in the bottom of the 2nd when 3 runs were scored. This ground ball breaks free as it was hit wet perfectly in between Jenkins and Fulmer. Neither one really went for it, and because of it, it's a runner on base now for the Silverwolves. Robinson with the 2nd base hit of the day.
29, Cooper Hansen.
Cooper Hansen now due up. He was the pitcher in yesterday's action, the center fielder today. Hansen reached base in his first plate appearance, and his 2nd fouled out into left field. Drove in a run in his last 2 plate appearances, one of those via walk and the other with a rocketing shot he drilled into right field. Robinson dives safely back to first, but I mentioned the Pirates led it 3-2 after the first 2 innings of the Super Regional game between Westlake and Cypress, but Westlake would be able to hold Cypress scoreless the rest of the game and add a run in the top of the 6th and the 7th to claim the 4-3 victory. They out-hit Cypress by 8 in that contest. 1-1 the count. Another unsuccessful pickoff attempt. Easton Hicks on deck. Hicks in his first at-bat yesterday drove in 2 runs after smashing one into right field to give Riverton that early lead in last night's action. Mentioned Westlake's loss to American Fork yesterday. The Thunder were the first to score, scoring a run in the top of the 3rd, but then American Fork would pour it on late in the game, scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the 4th, a run in the bottom of the 5th, and 6 runs in the top of the 6th. They didn't need to bat in the 7th, with the 9-3 advantage lifting them to victory. The bunt attempt ends up into the nets, so strike 2. But the Thunder did have some offense at different points in the action yesterday. Mentioned those 2 runs scored in the top of the 6th. They looked like they were originally going to be in striking distance, but there's too many plays made by the Cavemen. Fulmer, Drakluich, and Daniels all drove in the 3 runs they had. Westlake with 5 hits in yesterday's action, already off with 2 today. High flying ball, sails up, and is dropped. So diving in safely to second is Robinson, and Hansen finds himself safely at first. That one looked like it was going to be collected, but dropped perfectly between Drakluich and then Smith, who was giving chase coming off a shortstop.
Just for a little bit.
So 2 runners on, 1 out for the Silverwolves. Hicks now due up. Hicks in yesterday's action mentioned the 2 runs he brought in via the RBI. Also had a walk and a strikeout, and tried to close the game yesterday for Riverton, pitching for them in the top of the 7th. Hicks grounds one. It's fielded cleanly. Chance at a double play for the Thunder, and they're able to make it. So credit the Westlake defense. It was Smith who got it over to Jenkins. Second baseman came over to cover second, and then they turned to 2 to get it over to Fulmer and complete the double play and get out of the inning. 3rd inning up next on KSL Sports Rewind.
For Riverton, the bottom of the 7th.
Moody still on the mound for Riverton so far. He's allowed 2 hits, but no runs, and back-to-back innings. Riverton has forced Westlake to relieve runners stranded on base. They'll face off against Tegan Jenkins, the last batter in the order for the Thunder, before we return it back over to Drakluich and Smith, who are on deck and in the hole respectively. Jenkins in yesterday's game batted 8th instead of 9th, as him and Coley ended up switching places for this game. In his first plate appearance, had a successful bunt. He laid right down the 3rd base line, then struck out to leave 3 on base later in the game. And also struck out in his final plate appearance.
Go Teague!
Jenkins fouls the first one off into the dirt. This is a Riverton team, that beat Lone Peak in back-to-back games. The first one, they barely beat out the Knights in the Super Regionals. 0-2 the count, for currently facing Jenkins. Moody looking for his 2nd strikeout of the day, wasting no time delivering the pitch. It's a slow rolling grounder, fielded cleanly, and the throw is on time by Mazingo to get the out. And bring back up Drakluich. Last time we saw him, he crushed a double into left field to start the day for the Thunder.
The center fielder, number 14, Boston Drakluich.
Drakluich takes strike 1. But in that first game between Lone Peak and Riverton, Riverton barely etched it out 11-10. It was high scoring. There were multiple runs scored in almost every inning. Cap goes to 0-2 on swing and the miss by Drakluich. In the second game, Riverton would claim that one 14-4 off of 18 hits by the Silverwolves to place themselves in the position to now should take on Syracuse last night in bracket play, which they would then fall, of course, to the Titans, as we've discussed, with those 5 runs being the big difference in the 6 they allowed, and their comeback fell just short. Drkulic wisely takes ball 2. And it's now full count. So Drkulic fights his way back in the count. Drkulic on the season has launched 7 RBIs, 2 doubles, and a triple. But this time he's taking the walk. He was behind in the count 0-2 and fights his way back to be the first runner on base for the Thunder. Thunder have had a runner reach base in each of the previous 2 innings as well as this one now. Jensen Smith now due up. Smith was retired on a chopper over to third base. Speaking of choppers, this one knocked down. Making a good job trying to flip it, but that ball squeezed out. Chaos and confusion as Smith's going to be safe on first, and Drkulic makes it all the way over to third. The Silverwolves were sped up and unable to make the play in time. That ground ball was hit just off the base pad. Or excuse me, forced. It was Vernon who had to step off the base pad. And then he tried to flip it up to Moody, who was able to win the foot race, but Moody just unable to bring it in. Throw a little bit off the mark too. But either way, Moody unable to make the grab. And because of that, it squeezed out of his glove. Smith safe at first, and Drkulic makes it all the way over to third, just 1 out in the inning. Thunder looking to tie this one up with the tying run on third. Drew Smith now due up. Smith showed bunt, but pulled back. Drew Smith on the season, 21 runs brought in overall. Jensen Smith heads over to second. (2-0) the count. That was the first error charged of the day on Riverton. They had 4 errors in yesterday's game, which proved really costly. This grounder breaks free, and it'll score a run for Westlake. The Thunder tie it at 1 apiece, courtesy of Drew Smith, who just brought in his 22nd run of the season. See a meeting take place on the mound as Riverton does have other pitchers currently starting to warm up. We don't expect this change to be made here. So still 2 runners on, just 1 out, but the game is tied at 1 apiece with Sage Stewart due up in a moment. Top of the third here in our first of 4 games. Sage Strayer, the other pitcher, due up. Last time we saw him flew out to center field. Strayer in yesterday's action struck out, but launched a line drive into left field and had a well-hit grounder that allowed him to reach base in 2 of his 3 plate appearances. That line drive actually ended up being a double, too. So Jensen Smith to third. Smith at first after bringing in the tying run. Both teams with 3 hits. Strayer shows bunt, pulls back. And because of the situation, they're able to get the out at second, but the lead surrendered. So the Silverwolves decided to get the out, but so it's 2 outs in the inning, but now it's a 2-1 lead, courtesy of the run that came home. So curious decision there by Riverton as All Red decided to make the throw over. You can see them kind of arguing about it right now in the infield about the decision, as they are able to retire Jensen Smith, or excuse me, we retired Drew Smith going to second, but allowed Jensen Smith to score. Two on the count.
Go Nines! Go Sage! Yeah, Sage!
2-2 the count. Silverwolves surrendered the lead, but can get out of the inning with this pitch. Full count now. Moody in search of his second K of the day. And he gets it on Strayer. There's a drop 3, but Allred reaches for the tag out. But Westlake adds 2 runs in the top of the third to take a 2-1 lead over Riverton. We'll see if the Silverwolves can tie this one up when we return at UCCU Ballpark. Allred, Edwards, and Persall all due up for Riverton. The previous inning ended with a double play.
Go Sage!
Reaching on the grounder and unable to get it through. Foot race over to first, and he's able to beat it. So a good start for the Silverwolves. As Allred reaches base for the first time today. Or excuse me, the second time today after walking, but his first base hit of our tournament.
Running first base, number 17, Rocky Daniels. Now batting the
Edwards now due up.
Number 11, Zach Edwards.
Edwards flew out to center field. Ball's popped up straight in the air. Searching and able to make the grab. Coming off second was Jenkins. So 1 out now after Edwards was retired on the quick fly out. Drake Pearsall now due back up. Last time we saw him, he flew out to center field. So 1 out now in the inning. Downs the pinch runner, back on first. Downs scored in the bottom of the first for the Silverwolves. He was driven in by Vernon, who's currently on deck. Oh, 1 the count. Runner on first is Downs. 1 out in the inning. Pickoff attempt down to first, unsuccessful. So Westlake in front, 2-1 early. Apologize for having our scoreboard flipped, but that is the correct score, 2-1 Thunder. Pearsall nicely lets the ball pass. The outside delivery from Sage Strayer. Strayer on the season, 4-1 the record. Pearsall on the season, 22 runs brought in, 12 doubles, and 3 home runs. Although now falls to 1-2 in the count after taking a hack and a miss on that one. Another unsuccessful pickoff. That one a little closer, but the result the same as Downs, the freshman, dives safely back to first. Pearsall Drives one into center field. And it's retired by the center fielder, Boston Dracluich. So 2 outs now. Down still at first. I'll bring up Vernon. Vernon drove in. Downs the last time he was up to bat, but in order to do so this time around, he'd really have to get crush one into the outfield as Downs all the way on first, although Downs does have the speed.
You have a screw, Jace.
Downs had made it all the way over pretty much to second. Just waiting for that one to drop and then forced to run safely back to first. That ball squeezed away. Downs going for second. Was able to stay up. 1-0 the count, 2 outs. Vernon thought about swinging on it, but pulled back. Downs at second, 2 outs. Westlake holding the 2-1 lead. Looking to leave a Silverwolf stranded on base. And a swing and a miss for strike one on Vernon. Two on the count. Now at 3-1 off the ball delivery. Vernon on the season, 19 runs brought in, 3 doubles, and a home run. And Vernon able to walk over to first. So 2 runners on base now. With Dylan Zulo now due up. Last time we saw Zulo, he struck out to end the first inning. Zulo on the season, 20 runs brought in, 8 doubles, and a triple. Zulo takes a hard ball off the bat. Jeez, that had to hurt. But Zulo didn't duck, he just turned and just took it in. Do you see some Thunder players start to get warmed up in the bullpen, but don't expect a swap here. We'll see a meeting take place in a moment. Strayer struggling a little bit. So base is loaded. With Carson Moody, the opposing pitcher, due up, but there are 2 outs, so a lot of options to retire the Silverwolves for the Thunder. And also potential on a well-placed ball in the outfield for Riverton to not just tie this one up, but potentially take the lead. Silverwolves up to 4 hits on the day, to 3 for the Thunder. A reminder what's at stake. The winner will move on to play the loser of tomorrow's game between American Fork and Syracuse, and the loser's season is over. Those are also the stakes in our second game, due up at 1:30 between the Pleasant Grove Vikings and the Bingham Miners. The 8th and 13th seed will battle it out. Only one can advance. Moody, last time we saw him, grounded out to second. He looks to win the pitcher's duel inside the batter's box. Moody awaits the delivery. Zulo on first. Vernon at second. Downs at first. 0-1 the count. Off the strike delivery. Low delivery evens the count at 1-1. Moody on the season, 15 runs brought in, 2 doubles and 2 triples. Moody grounds one and it'll break 3, scoring 2 runs for the Silverwolves. As Downs comes across home, and as does the other pinch runner in place of Vernon for the Silverwolves, and Gage Woods. So Riverton now up 3-2 off the 2 runs brought in by Carson Moody. Moody to first, Zulo to second. Remington Robbins back up. And he lifts one into shallow left field, called for and collected by the left fielder in Riken Daniels, and that'll do it. So even though a few runners get left on base, Riverton scores 2 runs in the bottom third to match the 2 runs scored by Westlake in the top of the third to retake the lead. 3-2, we're heading into the 4th at UCCU Ballpark. New pitcher for the Silverwolves, as they've turned to Dylan Zulo, who's come off a second. And Moody is now shifted over to second. It'll be Cruz Savage, Landon Fulmer, and Riken Daniels all due up. 1-0 the count in our 3 game. Zulo looking to find his form here early. 2 straight ball deliveries. This one lifted in foul territory for strike 1. Three 3-1 the count. And on another low delivery, Savage takes the walk, his second time reaching base after his grounder he drilled into the left field into his last plate appearance. Had a runner reach base for both teams in every top and bottom inning so far here early. Landon Fulmer now due up. Outside delivery by Zulo for ball 1. Fulmer was hit by a pitch in his previous plate appearance, although it would have been a walk had he not been hit by the pitch. Fulmer allows strike 1 through. Count at 2-1. Fulmer fouls one back. Count now at 2-2. The 2-2 count, no outs, 1 runner on first. Fulmer wisely doesn't swing on that one, and we'll have full count now. Landon Fulmer able to walk to first, second straight walk surrendered, as the Silverwolves already have more pitchers warming up currently.
Number 20. Riken Daniels.
So 2 runners on base, no outs. And Daniels due up. Daniels awaiting the delivery. Last time we saw him struck out. The Silverwolves get creative, shifting their alignment. Great from Mazingo to reset at short. Daniels with 16 runs brought in on the season. Takes strike 1 there. Daniels also with 6 doubles and a home run. Daniels swings, falls to 0-2 in the count. Daniels goes down swinging. First strikeout of the day for Dylan Zulo.
Playing third base, number 15, Luke Foley.
Coley now due up. Grounded out to second the last time we saw him. Coley on the season, 12 runs brought in, 2 doubles, and 4 homers. Coley lets ball 1 through. Two-0 the count. Goes 2-1 after the foul off. 2 runners on in the top of the 4th. Coach Jay Applegate and his squad won the state championship last year, in danger of being eliminated in the second day of bracket play. Count now 3-1. Thunder with an opportunity to potentially load up the bases. Coley heads over to first. So 3 runners on, just 1 out in the inning.
The second baseman, number 18, Tegan Jenkins.
Tegan Jenkins due up after Coley's walk. Savage, Fulmer, and now Coley all been led on base via the walk. First delivery fouled off.
Should have brought my mitt. I'm jumping for that. I'm getting that every time.
0-1 the count. They get back-to-back strike deliveries. For Zulo, who's now in danger of walking in a run, with Savage situated on third. Fulmer at second and Coley at first. Jenkins grounded out to short the last time we saw him. Currently 1-2 in the count. Kluich in the top of the order on deck for Westlake. Jenkins goes down swinging. A much needed strikeout with the bases loaded. Brant Jakluich, last time we saw him, he walked, reached full count, but was able to walk to first, and before that, crushed one in the left field for the first, and I believe still the only double of the day we've seen from either side. Two outs now, 1-0 the count. Count goes to 1-1. Jakluich drives it high. Called for and collected by the shortstop, Mazingo. And the Thunder leave 3 runners stranded on base in the top of the 4th. We'll see if Riverton can extend their 3-2 lead when we return on KSL Sports Rewind. Harrison Brainerd due up to get the bottom of the 4th underway. Or excuse me, Harrison Brainerd getting the start on the, making the swap on the mound now for Westlake. This is the first time we've seen Brainerd this week. Brainerd comes in to face off against Hanson and Hicks. The last 2 orders in the batting order for the Silverwolves before we turn it over. 1-0 the count. One and 1 the count. Last time we saw Hanson was able to reach base safely after lifting one into shallow center field. Hanson 23 runs brought in on the season, 4 doubles and 2 home runs. 1-2 the count. Hanson smacks one directly at Brainerd, and Brainerd makes the grab. What an adjustment as he leans back and flips the glove up to bring it in. Brainerd with the crafty grab. And Easton Hicks now due up. Hicks no doubt eager to return to home plate after grounding into a double play in his previous plate appearance. Hicks had the big RBI yesterday. 9 runs brought on the season for him. Also a double and a home run. Hicks fouls off the first one. He's currently 0-2 in the count. Brainerd delivers his first ball of the at-bat. And Hicks fouls another off to stay in it. So Hicks and all red on deck. One, 2 the count. And all red is now due up after Hicks was retired via the first strikeout for Harrison Brainerd. We've seen runs reach base in every inning so far for both sides. That could change in the top of the 4th here, or excuse me, in the bottom of the 4th. But there's 2 outs now. And Caden Allred due back up. Allred with a walk in his previous plate appearance. And then reached base safely on a grounder that just squeezed past. It was Drew Smith at short who couldn't bring in the grounder completely. He was able to trap it, but couldn't get it over to first in time. 1-0 the count. Ball 2 delivered. All red. Let's strike one through. All red drives it high, and it's just going to end up unplayable. So we'll redo the 2-1 pitch. Count stands at 2-2 now. All red fouls, another off. Riverton trying to add and build on to their 3-2 lead they currently hold. Westlake looking to return to the bats with this delivery from Brainerd. Make it another ball delivery. Full count. All red. Goes down swinging. Back-to-back Ks for Harrison Brainerd, who does it all himself after that incredible catch in the first batter he faced. The Thunder looking to bring us offensive storm when we come back on KSL Sports Rewind. Fifth inning set to get underway, and our score remains unchanged after a scoreless fourth. Both teams added 2 runs in the top of the third, and the difference right now is that early run added by Riverton in the bottom of the first, leading to the 3-2 score we have as the 6th-seeded Silverwolves and 15th-seeded Thunder do battle here at UCCU Ballpark. Jensen Smith now due up, Drew Smith on deck, and Sage Strayer all going to bat in the top of the 5th. Thunder down to their final 9 outs if they want to extend it. Zulo's still on the mound, as swinging on the first pitch and being retired is Jensen Smith, who drives it right into center field. Now we'll bring up Drew Smith after Jensen Smith was retired. Last time we saw Drew Smith grounded out to the pitcher, and before that, and after that, excuse me, brought in a run on a rocketing ground ball. He slashed in between second and third base. That one got away from Zulo. Smith. That's the high ball 1 pass, or excuse me, high ball 2 pass. 2-0 the count. This line drive will break through the infield and into center field. So Drew Smith safely on first to the tying run on base for the Thunder. Going to bring up Sage Strayer, the original pitcher. Strayer flew out to center field in his first plate appearance and struck out in his most recent one. Just about 30 minutes away from our following losers bracket game between Pleasant Grove and Bingham. This hard hit ground ball fielded cleanly and unable to make the throw over to first in time was Mazingo. He took a hard bounce off the arm and just couldn't collect it in time. So 2 runners on base, 1 out now on the hard hit ground ball. That'll bring up the DH, Crew Savage, who reached base safely in a ground ball in his first plate appearance and then walked in his second. The tying run at second, the leading run on first. It's fouled off for strike one. Low delivery for ball one. Savage takes that one off the back. The bases are loaded. There are Silverwolves sitting in the bullpen right now. It's a similar situation to what we had play out last time. Bases were loaded, but no runs given up. So we'll see what Riverton decides to do. Landon Fulmer due up now. Zulo walked 3 batters, but was able to get his team out of the inning with some clutch plays, including a strikeout. Fulmer was hit by a pitch earlier on in the game and walked. The last time we saw him doing so here would tie the game up. This ball soars into right foul territory. Oh, 1 the count. Fulmer with an opportunity, if he could really get a hold of it, to drive in 2 runs and even tie the game up on anything that reaches the outfield. Still 1 out. 0-2 the count. Fulmer fouls it back to stay alive. Zulo early today has been at his best when his back is against the wall. The 0-2 pitch. Fulmer with his first ball. Fulmer. Another low delivery by Zulo. Good job trapping it that time by Allred. Count now even at 2-2 with 3 runners on base. Smith at third, Strayer on second, Savage at first, 1 out. Zulo gets strike 3 on Fulmer. Big time K for the pitcher. Speaking of strikeouts, Daniels has struck out in his 2 previous plate appearances. Doing so here would end the inning. Thunder trying to avoid back-to-back innings, leaving base runners stranded on. Zulo looking to close out another strong performance on the mound with his back against the wall in an inning.
I was like, I landed on your name. Well, my name's. I feel like we've talked about it before. What's mine? I can't find what's mine.
The fake throw by Allred. Count at 2-0. Zulo got to fight his way back. He's in danger of walking in a run. Daniels, if he could destroy this one and bring in a couple runs here, would not just allow Westlake to tie the game, but potentially even take the lead. Count at 3-0 though. So Zulo in danger of walking in the tying run. He delivers strike 1. Daniels decided to take it comfortably ahead in the count. The bunt attempt, just to the outside, and that one, I thought it was, or pulled it back, the bunt attempt, but that ball seemed like it was going to be ball number 3 there, or number 4, excuse me, but instead, umpire decided it was just to the inside. So huge count here, full count for the Thunder. Zulo looking to get the K and his team out of the inning. And it won't come there, as instead it's a high delivery. And Daniels walks to first, meaning Smith comes in via the walk, and we have a tie game, 3-3. The bases stay loaded. Luke Coley takes strike one. Coley cracks it into foul territory. Oh, 2 the count. Outside delivery for ball one of the at-bat. Thunder with 2 runners in scoring position and 3 on base. Zulo is able to retire Coley. Or excuse me, there's actually a pinch hitter they had coming in there. It looks like it was Harrison Brainerd they had brought in. But either way, Brainerd goes down. And that'll do it. So our game now tied. Bottom of the 5th, set to get underway at UCCU Ballpark. Westlake able to tie it up off a couple of just smart batting basically. 1 line drive, the only hit given up in that inning, and outside of that, it was just Moody struggling a little bit, or excuse me, Zulo struggling a little bit on the mound for Riverton. Zach Edwards now due up. It'll be Edwards, Persall, and Vernon. One-0 the count. Edwards popped out to second and flew out to center field in his 2 previous plate appearances. This one, he rips into shallow center field, and it's a base hit for the Silverwolves. They didn't have any in the previous inning, but he's able to land on first there. We'll bring up Drake Pearsall with the leading run on base. Pearsall flew out to center field in his 2 previous plate appearances. Pearsall waiting for the first delivery after the unsuccessful pickoff attempt from Harrison Brainerd. Brainerd on the season, 1-6 the record. Edwards dives safely back to first. Coach Applegate and his squad trying to break the early tie here. Ball's fouled off by Pearsall. Oh, on the count, no outs in the inning. Chopper was batted for a moment. The long throw over to first makes it in time. So Pearsall is retired, but it did advance Edwards to second. Alex Vernon now due up. Vernon drove in the first run of the day for Riverton back in the first inning when he rocketed one into left field. Also walked in his second plate appearance, looking to be the first Silverwolf to reach base in all 3 of his plate appearances. Another ball fouled back into the net, the first of this at-bat. Riverton ups to 6 hits on the day. Westlake with 4. Riverton also charged with 2 errors in this game so far. Ball's fouled off into right field. No 2 the count. Another ball drilled into foul territory by Vernon. He's 0-2 in the count currently. Brainerd looking for another out here. Vernon takes ball 1. One, 2 the count. The runner on second is Zach Edwards. We're tied up at 3. Silverwolves looking to take the lead once again. One, 2 the delivery. This one's ripped into right field and just ends up in foul territory. It was very close to being fair, and had it been, more than likely would have scored Edwards. Our count remains 1-2. And another blasted into foul territory. A reminder, we do have another game coming up after this one, as Pleasant Grove and Bingham are set to do battle. 8th-seeded Vikings and the 13th-seeded Miners set to face off. That we are not going to make our 1:30 start time, more than likely, as this ground ball breaks through up the middle, and it's going to be a foot race, but Edwards able to tap home easily. So the RBI driven in by Vernon. 4-3. The new lead for the Silverwolves. Off a big blast from Vernon. Brainerd talking things over with just 1 out. He's discussing it with Favilla. So runner on first now. Vernon did a good job battling that at bat and finally drove in the run. But as I was saying, We are more than likely not going to make our 1:30 start time for our following game, so stay with us here for any updates. If for those of you who are waiting around for that one, it'll be up about 30 minutes at the conclusion of this contest. One-0 the count. Low delivery for ball 2. Zulo wisely, that's a high ball 3 pass. He was hit by a pitch the last time we saw him, but before that, struck out to end the first inning. Dead center delivery for strike 3 by Dylan Zulo. Three one the count, still just 1 out. This ball chopped and bobbled for a moment by Cooley. And because of it, there are 2 runners on base now. Going to have a pinch hitter coming up in a moment. Or excuse me, still will be Carson Moody, so not entirely sure what the discussion was that time around. Actually, thought for maybe it was be a pinch runner, but doesn't look to be the case. So Carson Moody now due back up. So we'll see a meeting take place on the mound. No one warming up for Westlake, so don't believe we'll see a change. Two runs driven in the last time we saw Moody. Two runners on base. First error of the day charged against Westlake. And a reminder, the winner of this will go on to play the loser of that American Fork Syracuse game. So it could be a rematch depending on how this contest plays out. Thunder trying to figure things out, now trailing by a run. 2 innings left to play after this one. Westlake still needs 2 more outs to get out of the inning. Moody. Low delivery for strike 1. Moody crushes one that deflects off of the glove. And a foot race to third. Who made it first? And they're going to say Riverton did. Wow, bases loaded. What a crazy sequence. As it deflected off of the glove of Cooley. So Moody to first, Zulo to second, and Vernon using the wheels to make it over to third just in time. Remington Robinson now due up. The bases are loaded. We're going to see action get going in the bullpen for the Thunder as they try to figure things out defensively. Robbins, look at his day so far, flew out to right field. shallow right field and then reached base safely on a grounder. He drilled in between first and third. Chopper ends up in foul territory. So 3 runners on. Robbins fouls that one back. 0-2 the count. Robbins awaiting the delivery from Brainerd. Bases loaded. Fly ball sails into left field. Vernon going to try to tag up. Vernon ends up going back and able to get back to third in time. I don't think he was going to be able to reach it in time. Great grab made by Riken Daniels out in left field and a nice throw to keep him checked on the base pads. Cooper Hansen now due up. Last time we saw him, he drilled one right at Brainerd, and it was the first batter that Brainerd faced, and he got the quick out as Brainerd was able to make the miraculous grab. And before that, reached first, advanced his teammate to second. On a shallow ball, he hit into right field. Silverwolves trying not to leave 3 runners stranded on base. (1-0) the count. One and one the count. Count will go to 2-1 off the low delivery. Hansen allows another high ball. Brainerd in danger of walking a run in here. This ball launched into left field. Back on it, tracking in is Daniels, and Daniels able to make the grab. So Riverton scores a run in the bottom of the 5th, but they leave 3 stranded on. We'll see if the Thunder can get back into it when we return on KSL Sports Rewind.
Okay. You ain't on my level, then shoot. I can't die. 같은 질투 떠너비 올라와. 공기도 달라.
We are set for some 6th inning action here at Utah Valley University's UCCU ballpark. New pitcher on the mound for the Riverton Silverwolves. It'll be Connor Gandelot, who they turn to. There are other pitchers currently warming up, so we'll see if Gandelot can close it out for Riverton. Silverwolves and Thunder both looking to advance and play the loser of our 4:30 game between American Fork and Syracuse. That one originally scheduled for 1:30. Could be slightly delayed, depending on how long this one takes. At the moment, Riverton would only have to bat one more time, and if they can get this final 6 outs against the Thunder, then they would advance. Candelot set to face off against Tegan Jenkins. Struck out the last time we saw him, and before that grounded out to short. Zulo back at second now. Candelot shows bunt but pulls back on it. Oh, 1 the count. High delivery brings the count to 1-1. Last time we saw Jenkins, as I mentioned, he's yet to reach base today. Looking to turn that around. Hasn't had the most success at UCCU ballpark. Off the strike, 1-2. The count now. Candelot fouls it off. It'll be Jenkins batting currently with Draculich and Smith, Jensen and Drew Smith, both in the hole. Top of the order, due up. As another's fouled off by Jenkins, determined to stay alive. Both teams with bodies actively warming up in their respective bullpens, ready to do whatever it takes to close this one out. Jenkins drives one directly to Persall on third. Then I bring back up Boston Draculich. Got the Thunder's hitting day started with a booming shot in the left field. He turned it into a double. Then he walked in his second plate appearance, but flew out to short and left 3 on in the 4th inning. Seen back-to-back innings in which the Thunder were able to load the bases, as Zulo was struggling a little bit, but when it mattered most, Zulo and his team were able to get a few of the outs. They did allow 1 run in the top of the 5th. That originally tied the game until Riverton scored in the bottom of the 5th to retake the 1-run lead. Two-0 the count. Draculich fouls another back. Candelot dialed into the zone. Draculich fouls another off. As he continues to do everything he can to protect home plate. Draculich blasts another to the left side into foul territory. Just about 2 hours into this one now, a tightly contested contest. 4-3, 0-2 the count. Candelot looking for his first K of the day. Can't capture it on the high delivery. The first ball he's thrown. And this ball driven into shallow left field. It'll be a base hit for Draculich. The tying run now on base. He fought until he found a pitch he liked and then sends it over into left field. That'll bring up Jensen Smith. Smith flew out to center field the last time we saw him. Before that, reached base safely on an error. Charged against Riverton, one of their 2 errors charged against the Silverwolves today. and was thrown out at third after a chopper was fielded cleanly by Persall. So Jensen Smith up to bat, Drew Smith on deck. 1 out in the inning, 1 runner on. They're trying to get the pick off at second. Did they do it? They did. Wow, what a delivery. Caden Allred with the pickoff from behind home plate as he makes a powerful throw over to second. Got it to Zulo in time. So Draculich is retired. Now 2 outs and no runners on. 1-0 the count. Count at 1-1. Jensen Smith was able to steal home in his previous at-bat after Drew Smith drew the ball out. Line drive ends up in foul territory. One, 2 the count. Smith smashes one into foul territory. Two and 2 the count. 2 outs. Smith looking to tie this game up with a booming hit or at least land himself on base and extend the inning. Thunder down to their final 4 outs. Slow rolling chopper, fielded cleanly. Make it down to their final 3 outs after Zulo is able to retire Jensen Smith. That will do it for the top of the 6th. But the Silverwolves with an opportunity to add on to their lead when we return at UCCU Ballpark. The Riverton Silverwolves currently lead at 4-3. Looking to add to that lead in the bottom of the 6th, set to get underway any second. Appreciate you for joining us on KSL Sports Rewind for this one. As a reminder, 30 minutes after the conclusion of this game, we will have you Pleasant Grove and Bingham facing off in our second elimination game. That's the matchup between the 8th and 13th seeded teams in our 2023 6A Baseball State Championship Tournament. Then come back at 4:30, especially if you're really invested in this game, as you will figure out who you will be playing tomorrow in that 11 o'clock showdown when American Fork and Syracuse face off at 4:30. And then our nightcap, Sky Ridge and Mountain Ridge. It's the 1 versus the 5 seed, closing off day 2 of black bracket play on KSL Sports. Have a pinch hitter due up for the Silverwolves. He's currently 0-1 in the count. It's Titan. Mazingo. It's now 0-2 in the count. Batting in place of Hicks. Hansen flew out the last time we saw him to leave 3 on for the Silverwolves, but that run one they were able to add ended up being a crucial one. Line drive fielded cleanly off a second by Jenkins, who's able to get it over to first and retire Mazingo. That'll bring up the top of the order with Caden Allred up to bat and Zach Edwards on deck. Edwards was the run driven in by Alex Vernon in the previous inning, the bottom of the 5th, that allowed the Silverwolves to hold this 4-3 advantage. Ground ball smacked instantly, fielded cleanly off of short by Drew Smith, who gets it over to first in time. 2 up, 2 down just as quickly as Allred goes down. That'll bring up Zach Edwards. Last time we saw him, he rocketed one into right field, but before that, had flew out to second and the center field. So 2 outs in the inning. 0-1 the count. Edwards the DH. The last big base hit the Silverwolves have had. Or excuse me, the last one since Vernon. Also count Carson Moody in that department, who did have a line drive to reach base, just wasn't able to advance anyone because of the placement of it. 0-2. Nearly had strike 3, and everyone in the infield and outfield a little bit in disbelief. Harrison Brainerd has been dynamite in the bottom of the 6th. Looking to give his team a chance to tie this one up in the top of the 7th with a strikeout here. He struggled a little bit in the previous inning. There were bodies still occupying the bullpen for the Thunder, but no one really warming up at the moment since the game is firmly in Brainerd's hands, facing a 2-2 count against Edwards. Edwards grounds it, and this one will break through right over second base, and Edwards lands himself on first. His second consecutive base hit. That'll bring up Drake Persall. Last time we saw him was retired on third, or excuse me, was grounded out to third. Also flew out to center field in the other 2 plate appearances. Alex Vernon on deck, who's boomed some big shots today so far. This one absolutely launched into left field, but into foul territory. Won the count. This ball's fouled off, taking the count to 0-2. Persall looking to avoid the strikeout, and he'll foul it off back over our heads in the press box to try and do so. To the count. Pearsall allows the low ball 1 to pass after fouling a few off. Edwards, the designated hitter, still on first. Westlake trying to get out of the inning and give themselves a chance to tie this one up in the top of the 7th. Swing and a miss by Drake Persall. The timely strikeout for Harrison Brainerd. Huge for the comeback chances of the Westlake Thunder. Can they complete the comeback? Stay with us. Top of the 7th up next on KSL Sports Rewind. all comes down to this, the 7th inning between the Silverwolves and the Thunder. Only one can advance. Riverton 18-6 on the season. The Thunder 12-19. The Thunder have been one of the best stories of postseason play with their improbable run, but in danger of losing back-to-back games and being eliminated. Riverton trying to avoid doing the same. They're 3 outs away from closing out the victory. Connor Candelot picked up exactly where he left off with the strike delivery there. Drew Smith, Sage Strayer. 2 of the ones due up. A slow rolling grounder fielded cleanly by Zulo, who collects it and gets it over to first, where Vernon is seated settled on the bag. Two outs remaining for Riverton to secure their place in the following round of bracket play, while the Thunder's season on the ropes. Sage, Strayer all due up. All it takes is one big hit. Strayer takes a hack for strike 1. Strayer reached first on a grounder down in between second and third the last time we saw him. 1-1 the count. Strayer resets. He started the day on the mound, now looking to continue it inside the batter's box. Two one the count off the ball delivery. Candelot winds, delivers, and gets Strayer to bite. He's swinging for the fences, but missed everything that time. The 2-2 count. Strayer trying to keep it alive. Candelot looking for out number 2. And it's fouled off. So we'll do the 2-2 pitch once again. Fly balls lifted into foul territory back here in the bleachers. Miners and Vikings watching on. So they'll be due up in our next game. Couple balls delivered. 2 all red behind home plate. Strayer smacks it sky high into center field. Back on it is Hansen, and Hansen brings it in. So the 6-seeded Silverwolves are 1 out away from closing out the Thunder. Drew Savage now due up. Savage was hit by a pitch the last time we saw him, also walked, and then reached base in his first plate appearance with a ground ball. He's sent in between second and third. Strike 1 delivered by Candelot, who's so close to sending the Silverwolves into the next round. Savage swings and misses. Now at 0-2. The 2022 state champions trying to keep their season alive, 1 pitch away from securing their place. Savage grounds it. It takes a bounce, and it squeezes just past Zulo. He's been so strong at second base, but allows that one to get through. It appears shaken up on second is Savage at the moment. So he may have a pinch runner coming on for him, as he appears hurt, although he may try to stay in the game. But either way, a huge hit by Savage. Just too much heat on it for Zulo to handle. And instead of Landon Fulmer, it's going to be a pinch hitter for the Thunder. Savage wants to stay in the game, and he's going to do so. So he appears okay to continue. So we'll redo it again. 2 outs still. The tying run on first. Set to step in for the Thunder is Mason Hartle. Hartle swings and misses on the first pitch. Mason Hartle, the senior. Let's strike 2 through. Candelot looking to close it out. Instead, it's fouled off. So we'll do the 0-2 pitch once again. Savage hoping to tie things up. He's got a long way to go to make it home as he settled in on first. Needs Hartle to bring him in a little bit. But Candelot looking to prevent it from happening. A low delivery for ball 1. We're going to see a quick pause for a moment. It's a big moment for the Silverwolves. Coach Applegate and his team going to talk things over, and they're actually going to make a change. So Candelot is done. 1-2 in the count. So close to closing it out, and instead, Riverton has decided to roll and bring in Riley Taylor, the junior, taking his place on the mound. 5'10", 145. Really interesting decision there. Just one pitch away from closing it out for Taylor, but didn't want to surrender anything big. Coach Applegate must have seen something and decides to make the change. Coach Applegate, 365 wins in his 24 seasons with Riverton. Warming up and looking to bring the heat, and with it a victory is Riley Taylor, 1 strike away from closing out the Thunder. The 15-seeded Westlake Thunder have been on a Cinderella-type run ever since postseason play began, besting the 2-seeded Cypress Pirates. They lost to American Fork, but have been in a tightly contested contest with last year's state champions, the Riverton Silverwolves, all day. Caden Allred makes his way up to the mound to talk things over with Riley Taylor. They just need 1 pitch to finish off the Thunder. Taylor with the count at 1-2 and 1 runner on base in Savage. Taylor forces one to be popped straight up in the air. Silverwolves running, giving chase for it, and collecting it in foul territory for Riverton was Easton Hicks. And the Silverwolves have done it. They are advancing after stopping the Thunder. 4-3, the Silverwolves' victory. It was a tightly contested contest. Riverton with some big shots from Alex Vernon, who brought in the first run of the day. Also brought in a run in the third, in his third at-bat in the bottom of the 5th. And those 2 runs brought in the bottom of the third ended up giving them the 4-3 advantage over the Westlake Thunder. What a game to begin play, but that will do it as the 6th-seeded Silverwolves are moving on after taking down the Westlake Thunder. They will await the winner of this afternoon's game between American Fork and Syracuse, set for 4:30. But as for our next game between Pleasant Grove and Bingham, the 8 versus 13 seed, in our second loser and elimination game, that'll be underway about 30 minutes from right now, so stay with us, as we should be getting away right around 1:50 to 2 o'clock, somewhere in that range. We expect play to begin on KSL Sports Rewind. But that will do it for us here. Your final, the Silverwolves take down the Thunder 4-3 on KSL Sports Rewind. We'll see you soon.